Most people spend their entire lives trying to attract money, as if it's some distant force that must be convinced to come closer. They chase it, struggle for it, obsess over it. But here's the truth: money doesn't come to you because you want it. It comes to you because you're aligned with it. Not emotionally, not intellectually, energetically. Bob Proctor often said that money is not earned by hard work alone. It's earned through alignment. You don't attract money by force. You receive it by becoming a match to its frequency. Money operates on a vibration. And that vibration is not lack, desperation, or anxiety. It's expansion. It's confidence. It's value. So if your internal state is fear, worry, or scarcity, you're not repelling money because you're bad with it. You're simply not on the right channel. Think of a radio. You could be surrounded by your favorite music at this very moment, but unless your radio is tuned to the right frequency, you'll hear nothing but static. It doesn't matter how much you want to hear the music. Wanting isn't enough. The dial must be aligned. The same is true for wealth. It's not about deserving it. It's about aligning with it. This understanding flips everything. You stop trying to get money and start focusing on becoming the version of you who already lives in the frequency of wealth. You let go of the mental noise that says, "It's hard, it takes time, I'm not ready," because those thoughts hold a lower vibration. When you tune into abundance, mentally, emotionally, energetically, the outer world has no choice but to reflect that signal. Money isn't outside of you. It's a mirror of your state. When you stop chasing and start tuning in, you don't pull money toward you. You reveal the part of you that was always connected to it. You cannot receive what you do not believe yourself to be. That's the hidden starting point of the formula. Not action, not planning, not even intention, but identity. Your inner self-image quietly sets the boundaries of what you allow, attract, and hold in your life. It's not what you consciously want that shapes your results. It's what you subconsciously expect. Bob Proctor used to say that if you want to change your income, you must first change your image. And he wasn't talking about how others see you. He meant how you see yourself when no one is watching. Do you see someone who always struggles? Someone who barely gets by? Someone who feels guilty for wanting more? If so, no external effort can override that internal blueprint. Because energy follows identity. This is why so many people work hard, stay busy, try new methods, and still feel stuck. It's not their actions that are off. It's their self-image that's misaligned. They're trying to earn more while seeing themselves as someone who always has just enough. That mismatch creates inner friction, and that friction blocks flow. The formula only activates when identity and desire are in harmony. When your self-image shifts, your reality starts catching up. You begin to make decisions differently, not from fear, but from worth. You stop shrinking opportunities down to your current level and begin expanding yourself to match them. The way you speak, the way you walk, the way you feel about receiving, it all begins to elevate. And here's the secret most miss. The self-image doesn't upgrade after the money comes. It upgrades before. The version of you who receives wealth with ease isn't someone you become later. It's someone you decide to embody now. That's when the formula stops being theory and starts becoming your reality. Thoughts alone don't create reality. That's where many people misunderstand the formula. You can think about money, visualize abundance, and repeat affirmations all day, but if those thoughts aren't backed by emotion, they're just mental noise. Emotion is the activator. It's the fuel. It's what gives thought its creative force. Without emotion, nothing vibrates. And without vibration, nothing moves. Bob Proctor made this clear. Your conscious mind chooses your thoughts, but it's your emotional body, your subconscious, that determines the vibration you're in. And it's that vibration that sets what you attract. If you say, "I am wealthy," but feel fear, stress, or doubt in your body, you're not sending a signal of abundance. You're broadcasting confusion. And the universe responds not to your words, but to your state. True creation begins when thought and feeling match. When you think of money and feel gratitude. When you visualize success and feel certainty. That's when your frequency sharpens. That's when the signal becomes clean. And that's when results start forming, seemingly out of nowhere. The emotion is what transforms mental images into magnetic fields. That's how attraction works, not by wishing, but by feeling in advance. This is why emotional mastery is part of the formula. Not emotional suppression, mastery. Becoming aware of what you feel and learning to guide it toward expansion. Cultivating elevated states like trust, joy, and appreciation not as reactions, but as habits. Because the emotion you practice most becomes the frequency you live in. And when you begin to feel wealth, not chase it, not beg for it, but feel it as if it's already present, something powerful happens. You change your signal. You shift your field. And from that point on, money doesn't need to be forced, it starts to find its way to you. One of the most underestimated forces in the entire process of transformation is repetition. Not because it's exciting, not because it's dramatic, but because it works. The subconscious mind, where all your beliefs about money live, does not change through single moments of inspiration. It changes through consistent exposure. Repetition is what reshapes the neural and energetic pathways that govern how money flows into your life. Bob Proctor taught this endlessly. The paradigm, your internal system of beliefs, emotions, and habits, is like software. And if that software is coded for limitation, scarcity, or survival, then no matter what you try to do externally, you'll keep producing the same results. The only way to override it is through spaced repetition of new, elevated input, thoughts, images, feelings, repeated until the mind accepts them as normal. That's why the formula includes more than knowing. It requires reprogramming. You don't just tell yourself you're wealthy once. You tell it again and again, not because you're trying to fake it, but because you're training your system to see it as real. You visualize it. You write about it. You speak it. You feel it. And most importantly, you do this consistently, especially when nothing has shown up yet. That's when it matters most. Through repetition, you begin to build a new emotional baseline. Scarcity no longer feels familiar. Abundance does. Doubt begins to lose its grip. Confidence becomes your normal. The more often you install the new image of who you are, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, what once felt like a stretch becomes second nature. This is how reality bends. Not through force, but through frequency, encoded through repetition. Because the universe doesn't respond to who you were once, it responds to who you are consistently. And when your repetition aligns with truth, the formula becomes unstoppable. There is a quiet but radical shift that happens when the formula begins to take root. You stop acting toward the goal and begin acting from it. It's not a mindset trick. It's a vibrational shift. The person who's aligned doesn't behave like someone who's waiting. They behave like someone who's already received. Their choices, tone, posture, and energy all reflect a reality that hasn't fully arrived, yet already feels real to them. This is one of the core differences between forced action and aligned action. When you're acting toward the result, your energy often carries need, pressure, and uncertainty. You're hoping the action will work, hoping it will change things. But when you act from the result, from the state of already being the version of yourself who has it, your energy carries authority, peace, and clarity. There's no grasping, only expression. Bob Proctor often explained that the subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. If you consistently feel like the person who is already wealthy, your system responds to that signal. You begin to make different moves, not out of fear, but out of identity. And when action is taken from that place, it becomes magnetic. It draws to you the people, situations, and outcomes that match your internal reality. This is when confidence becomes natural. Not loud or forced, quiet, embodied. You make decisions not to get rich, but because you already are rich internally. You carry yourself differently. You attract at a different level. And life begins to organize around the version of you that you become vibrationally, not the one you used to be. When you act from the result, time bends. Circumstances accelerate. What used to feel far away starts to feel familiar. And what used to be just a dream begins to show up in ways that feel strangely logical. Because you're no longer trying to make it happen, you're simply matching what you already are. In the end, it all comes down to this. Money doesn't respond to how hard you work. It doesn't respond to how much you want it. It doesn't even respond to how clever your strategy is. Money responds to identity, to who you are being, consistently, emotionally, vibrationally. And when that identity is rooted in abundance, value, and certainty, money flows. This is the truth that many never discover, because they're too focused on external hustle. They believe success comes from effort alone. But if that were true, the hardest working people would be the wealthiest, and they're not. The wealth flows toward those whose inner identity allows it. Those who see themselves as valuable, as worthy, as already in harmony with wealth, before the numbers show up. Bob Proctor made it clear, your results are a direct reflection of your self-image. And your self-image is not fixed, it's programmable. If you change who you believe you are, everything else must follow. Not as theory, but as law. Because the vibration of your identity determines what you draw in. If you embody scarcity, you attract it. If you embody expansion, abundance meets you there. And here's the beauty. This identity shift doesn't require permission, luck, or perfect timing. It requires awareness, intention, repetition, and the courage to act as the version of you who no longer hopes, but knows. That's when you cross the line between wanting and having. That's when the formula becomes real. You've just seen the pieces of the pattern that has transformed thousands of lives. If this message stirred something inside you, it's because the shift has already begun. You're not hearing this by chance.